Welcome back to the channel. It's Wednesday, and no, this isn't the only sweatshirt I own, but it's my favorite. This week, we're going to prep the bug to do something I haven't done in probably 30 plus years. We're going to race a Hornet in an actual competition. We got a vintage race coming up this weekend. I've got a couple parts and pieces that I don't even know if they're going to work yet, but we ran by Anderson RC tonight. We picked up some wheels and tires, and let's see how that goes. But in the meantime, I got the wiring about 99% on the VRD. It's a tight fit in here. This was a bit of a challenge to get the motor wired up. But all thing I got left to do is put the wiring for the battery. I didn't have enough wire, so I had to run by Anderson today and pick up some wire and another plug. I don't know if Eric's running Deans, but we're putting Deans on it for testing purposes. Not going to test it tonight because I don't want to get into the speed control setup tonight because I need to focus on this car because we're racing it in a couple days. And last time it was run was on the beach in Florida last July. So anyways, let's finish this wiring up right quick, and then we'll jump into this and see if what we got will work. All right, I went ahead and made up my plug and got her all shrink wrapped up. It always kind of wigs me out soldering on speed controls, but never had an issue with it. But just it's an expensive unit to be burning up if you get it too hot too fast or too long, and or wire it backwards, which would be terrible. But we checked, double checked, triple checked. I think we're going to be okay. Tug, tug. I think we're good. Probably a little bit more wire than I need because we're probably going to cut this off because I don't know if he's going to be running a 60, XT60, 80, whatever they are. But most of my batteries are Deans, so that's what we're going to test it with. I'm not going to turn it on tonight, like I said. This speed control's got a lot of settings, and I'm not familiar with this particular radio, which even though it's Spectrum, it ought to be pretty easy. We got the Spectrum Rugged if you watch the other video, the build video. And I do have my hot wire to program this if needed. Probably going to run it baseline out of the box. But I probably need to hook my hot wire up to it just to see where it is setting for like drag brake and stuff like that, and reverse and all that good stuff. Yeah, I've never had one of these. Trying to remember the last time I ran a Tekin setup in my SEX 10.2. I had the 412 motor, but I didn't have a Tekin speed control. I ran a Castle. So I'm not going to get into that tonight just because this is not a deadline rush because we still have to paint the body. And that's going to take a little bit of time. But once we paint the body and turn this thing on and push a few buttons and bleep bloops on there, it ought to be ready to go. But I want to finish this and do a running video with it in the same video. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you hadn't already. But let's dig into the beach bug and see what we got going on here for the race. All right, don't mind the mess. That means we're working. Beach bug time. If you're not familiar with this bug, look back at some of the older videos. Every beach video with a Grasshopper or Hornet is this car. I bought this car in early 2000s. It was an RTR Hornet. I don't know when that was the thing. It came with a Tamiya radio. It was already built, painted, and all that good stuff. And I think it was when they first started reintroducing them. And I had to have it because it was one of my first cars. My actual first RC car, hobby grade, was a Grasshopper. And then a Blackfoot. And then I went back to a Hornet. And then I finally got an RC10. But the last time I actually raced a Hornet-based or Grasshopper-based car was about 1987, 86. MacArthur skating rink in West Virginia. I do have videos of that. That's some old home movies. They are put on the channel. They've been on there for a long time. One of them has news coverage from the race, and my Hornet is in that picture or in that video with a red and white Pontiac body on it. And the second video, MacArthur, was my RC10, and that was an Easter race. Must have been 87, had to be 87, because we moved to North Carolina in 88. But anyways, that's enough history. This car here, last year, not just last year, this car's been at the beaches forever, and every time I put beach videos and pictures up, people give me a bunch of hate because they think I'm ruining a car on the beach. But 20 years of running on the beach, it ain't dead yet. It has been rebuilt a few times, not gonna lie. We had to put some bearings and some screws. There's some rusted stuff. I did put a lot of stainless hardware in it. But last time I ran this car was last July at Anna Maria Island in Florida. This car has been anywhere from Myrtle Beach, Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina, Sunset Beach, several beaches up and down North Carolina, South Carolina coast. Also, it has been at Daytona Beach. It has been on Crescent Beach, I believe, is on the east coast of Florida. We went to Holmes Beach on the west coast of Florida in the Gulf. The car's been in the Gulf water. That was just last year. It's been there twice. And then last year at spring break this car was in Twilight Land. It was out in La Push Beach in Forks, Washington. My brother lives out in the PNW, and I mailed it out to his house so I wouldn't have to fly with it. And we made a video. It's on there. There's a little family vacation video, and then there's a running video of the Bug. That was in the early days of me trying to, I know it was only a year ago, but that was the early days of me trying to get my channel going, and I didn't do a lot of talking. Still kind of super shy about it. But anyways, there's some cool footage and some cool scenery out there. It's very beautiful. Anyway, what we're going to do with it now, we're going to race it. I haven't raced this car. I haven't not raced a Grasshopper in 30 years, 30 plus. Have no idea what we're doing is going to work, but we're going to try it anyways. I had planned on revamping this car for next year anyways. I did order a new bug body. I got it from Sabula. They do make a reproduction of this. This is a reproduction of a Tamiya Monster Beetle, but it's Lexan. This is made by Parma. Parma doesn't exist. Well, I think they're reopened, but the bodies are still kind of sketch. I hadn't heard anything about them, but the Sabula is also a Monster Beetle replacement and a Lexan, so we got one of those coming, and we're going to do a fresh paint job. And I was thinking about doing some scale type wheels. These are scaled to a Bug, a beach car, but I was thinking about doing something with 12mm hex. And I've had these on the shelf for probably 4 or 5 years. These are adapters for a Grasshopper or Hornet. But we may need these for what we're going this weekend. And I went down to Anderson today and picked up some associated 12mm hex buggy wheels. No idea if they're going to work. But as far as the beach rebuild, I got me some new Tamiya hexes, or not hexes, but the wheel adapters, because the factory ones finally broke. And I got a diff locker. I think I ordered this from the Netherlands. Anybody can make one, but I just thought it was cool. It was only $5. So we're going to put a diff locker in it for the next beach trip, because one wheel peel on the beach is not good. But we got to experiment and see if his wheels are going to fit. And if they do, I don't know what the latest, greatest hot wheel and tire is for off-road. But this is a hard packed clay track, and it's a Grasshopper. How good is it going to handle anyways? So I got some super soft dirt oval tires because they look cool. They got Hoosier letters on them, and they got a pretty good aggressive tread on there, almost like a block style, old school kind of off-road tire, but more dirt oval. But we got front and rears, super soft compound. This thing ain't gonna handle it so good anyways. It's not gonna be that fast. They're giving us handout torque tune motors at the race this weekend, so it's not going to be blistering fast. It's a big track. It's going to be interesting to see this thing out there. And hopefully we don't break it because we don't have backup parts. I don't know if that shop down there has them or not. I was planning on building a four-wheel drive this week, some kind of boomerang or super shot or something. And just didn't fit in the budget to spend a couple $100 to build a four-wheel drive kit to run that one race. When we got this thing, I haven't raced one in years. It ought to be interesting. So let's quit babbling and get these wheels off and see if these adapters are going to work and see if we got clearance, because it's going to be a little tight right there. All right, there's no trick parts here. Those are Tamiya frog shocks. Um, Old Duratrax made a car, a Volkswagen. Got that and it mounted to the gearbox. I did a review on this car in my other videos, so go check them out. As you can tell, the motor's rusted. Still runs, but we'll get a handout motor for this weekend. And there's that broken, finally dried up and come apart. It was still working. I ran it that summer, or last summer, with that on there. So got a little movement in the pod there. Not pod. I'm thinking pan car. That's a Grasshopper. These are from China, I suppose. Redback Racing. I've seen some people put touring car wheels on these, on Grasshoppers and such, Hornets and Frogs. Just to have a variety of wheels. And evidently you got to change some bearing sizes out and shim them up to make this work. I probably just filled this full of sand because this thing still got sand on it from the beach. And there's our fronts. The fronts get bearings, assuming just by process of elimination. That one goes on the front. Yep. That one goes in the back. Nice fit. And the rear ought to be pretty straightforward. Evidently that's a smaller pin, maybe. Or maybe it just gives you a new pin. And there's a set screw. And nowhere to put that set screw. This one has a hole in it. Well, QC missed drilling a hole in this one. No, they didn't. I missed it. I'm blind. So we got a set screw to lock those in place, which is a good thing because you don't want to lose that pin. That's better. The front shocks on this car came off of a Bowlink Eliminator, bringing the pan car stuff back around. Titanium turnbuckles from a 10R5 or a 10L, something or another. RPM ball ends. Shocks have been leaking for 20 plus years, so we are not going to fix it. We're going to let it run friction style. We're going to depend on the tires to be our suspension, I guess. Now this is a roughed in kind of start to it. I may go back and, which would be kind of smart, to go back and get some of the sand out of the car. It's been sitting there since last July. That was simple. All right, moment of truth. That is going to work on the rears. Check it out. 2.2 buggy wheels on the old Hornet. Now see how big these are in comparison. These being 1.6 and these are 1.5 and these being 2.2, the overall height of the tire is literally maybe a 1/16 of an inch bigger on these that we're putting on there. So I mean, they're probably about the same size if you factor in the paddles. So we might be good. We don't have to cut the body up. I didn't want to cut the body up. I wanted to keep it true to itself. We know the rear works. Let's put the front one on. This thing was due for a freshening up. It's been, like I say, been in 2 oceans this year. At least 2. And these front bearings are about toast. They still spin free, but they are rusted onto the car, as you can see. So let me, oh, they come off. Let's wipe this down a little bit before we mess up our new bearings. This thing's got to be prepped for the race. I'm going to assume it goes that way. It can go either way. Oh yeah, we're in business. This thing's going to be ridiculous. I went a nut. I'll find it. We might need a shim behind that because I just bottomed the bearing out. Let's put one of these on there and see if it helps the situation. There we are. We may have to run the nut on backwards so the nylock will be grabbing hold of it. But we're not rubbing now. If I tighten the nut down, it kind of crushes the bearing tight. Might dig around in my box this week and see if I can find some shocks. I may have some a little bit better shocks. I don't think it's really going to help it or hurt it because it is what it is. Because the rear suspension is pretty much non-existent. Again, this is supposed to be a fun weekend. We're not getting serious. If we were getting serious, we'd have spent a couple $100 and bought us a boomerang or something and tried to run with the big boys. But they are going to run some faster classes. They're going to run some 17.5, 13.5, like Javelins, Optimas. Some of the little bit more modern or like triple XS cars, some B4s, B44s, I guess. Whatever came predecessor to 95, I guess like the BJ4. Some like actual performance cars. We are running in the classic plastic class, which will consist of Hornets and Grasshoppers and Frogs and such like that. So I think we're still legal. Nothing fancy here. I got my old CRP shock tower, aluminum A-arms, which are just pointless. They just look cool. I got a piece of carbon fiber up here. I might be a little fast. Traxxas lights, Kydex bumper I made. This is eBay stuff. Yeah, I think we're going to be good to go. Let me throw the other two wheels on. We'll put some tires on, see if this thing's going to fit. All right, this is just mock-up stage. I will take these back off and clean them up and glue them. I am no expert at gluing tires, but I can make it work. These do have some mold release on them. That's the white powdery substance. Pretty nice tires. They got a molded insert. Pretty cool. It's pretty firm. The tire does not hold its shape whatsoever with the insert out of it, which means it's got a really soft tire, which is we need maximum bite and maximum soft to make up some of the lack of suspension. So it looks like they're going to fit really good. No problem getting them on. I still don't know about clearance on the body yet. So we'll have to get these other two tires on. We'll throw the body back on and see what we got. No clearance problems with the motor. These adapters didn't make the car any wider. It's like, well, these are pretty high offset wheels too, so that makes up the difference. If these were like a reverse offset wheel, they'd definitely widen the stance quite a bit, which would also probably help. I thought about running 4 fronts on it. We ran Legends cars on the concrete, and we ran 4 narrow tires. We ran the 2 left side tires on the rear. Less contact patch was less bouncing on the Legends car because it has no suspension. And I was thinking that might kind of translate to this. But we went ahead and ran the fronts and rears just to make it look a little more sporty. Yeah, I definitely want to look into some shocks this week. Plenty of stickers. Put it on the cabinet. Got Proline stickers at the wazoo. Anyways, here's a moment of truth to see if this is going to clear. And it looks like we're going to be okay. Well, that didn't work, did it? Not a whole lot of suspension action in the rear, so the front even bottomed out. We still got wheel rolling. Don't have a whole lot of steering. This car doesn't have equal length steering, so it turns more to the right than it does the left. That's just the nature of the car, the way it's designed. Now, I guess in full droop, turning left, we got a little rubbish, but that'd probably be momentarily just bouncing around. That's a good sign. I'm kind of surprised everything fit, because I figured I was going to be drilling the wheels out, but the wheels bolted right up. Those are team associated wheels. I was going to run four-wheel drives, but the four-wheel drives looked like they had even more reverse offset, so I figured that would be rubbing something, and these are here fit perfect. No clearance problems whatsoever. Clearing the ball studs and the ball links. Way cleared it, probably by almost 1/4 of an inch. Didn't widen our track at all. Still pretty narrow. We probably stand to be a little wider in the rear, but I think we'll be okay. Again, it's a Grasshopper. How serious can it be? This is supposed to be fun, and it's going to be fun. If we break early or whatever, we'll hope not, but if we do, we're going to stay and watch the event. It is a 2-day event. It's actually 3. They open for practice Friday, and we're not going to get out for practice because we have to work. And we are planning on running the mains if we make it. It depends on how many cars are there. So I don't know how, because I think last year Turbo Scorpion was in this class and I think that one should have been separated, I believe. That's a little too performance-based compared to this. But again, it's all for fun. I don't care what we race against. Put a new buggy out there. We'll run it. Anyways, I'm going to stop for tonight. It's Monday night. It's late. We're going to come back tomorrow night, and we'll put my Spectrum radio in here. It's got the flash guide for the beach because I didn't care about getting sand and water in that $30 radio. Although it never failed me, it worked fine. And we are going to have this. We're going to take the beach truck, and I'll probably take my TTO too because they run those in the parking lot. Let's take it down there. It's got the channel on it. Maybe we'll get a few more subscribers. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed, hit that button because I think about 60 to 70% of our viewers are not subscribed. So just hit that button. I don't think I'm going to get into the gears or anything because it sounds fine. I don't hear no crunchy. We're not going to get super serious with this. We'll do that once we revamp it. That'll be later on, closer to summer. We'll revamp it. We'll put all new bearings and everything in for the beach. So it'll be good for another 20 years. I think it might be the third set of bearings in 20 years. So you can say what you want about running the beach. It's fine. Just maintenance, basic maintenance. Just keep it clean. As I didn't, as you can see. This thing has been sitting since August with sand in it. Anyways, catch you back tomorrow. See what we get. All right, welcome back. It's Tuesday. Last night before we finished wrapping up the pre-race prep for the old Hornet Grasshopper / bug thing, we got our wheels and tires glued. Nothing exciting there. I am by no means a tire and wheel gluing expert, but these turned out really nice. I just cleaned them with alcohol and used Protec tire glue. And these wheels and tires fit together really nice. Proline tires, associated wheels, and no problems there. So they're all glued up. We got the car somewhat cleaned up, knocked some sand out of it. There's still sand in it and here in places, here and there. I'm not going to bother rebuilding the shocks. Again, this is a Grasshopper. What's it going to do? It's going to bounce regardless. We cleaned it up. Re-lubed the diff. No, I didn't want to get into all that. I didn't rebuild it. I just kind of cleaned it up, put new grease in it. So we will do a full rebuild of this car. May not record it, but I will do a full rebuild with this new body and everything for summertime. It's time for its 5th body in the last 20 years. Anyways, we're going to throw in our Spectrum receiver because I think I said last night that we were running the Fly Sky, the little cheap $30 radio. Because of the beach situation, I didn't want to take nothing expensive on the beach just in case somebody was to walk off with it. Or if I got sand or water in it, I didn't want to ruin a good radio. So we're going to put another Spectrum receiver in and bind it to my DX4R. I am looking to upgrade that eventually if I start racing more like I have been. Because that one's a little aged out, but still works fine. I think we're going to buy Anderson RC out of all of his little 215 receivers. I bought 2 for Joseph last night. Well, he bought them. I picked them up. I bought 3 or 4 in the last couple of weeks, and I need to buy some more just to have one on hand because we are getting a Clodbuster donated for the weekend to use. It was a truck I painted probably a few years ago. I can't remember exactly when. But Chris is going to let us run his Clodbuster at the race this weekend. They got a heavy metal class for Clodbusters and Blackfoots and Monster Beetles and things like that. So we may race it. We may just practice with it and at least get some video footage of it on the track. It's going to be pretty cool. But anyways, I'm going to throw this receiver in here and get it bound up. Get the tires back on, and we'll be about ready to go racing. All right, nothing too exciting to see here, but I'm going to film it for your viewing entertainment. We do have some corrosion on our plug. See, folks, there's nothing wrong with running your car on the beach. Just everything turns green and brown. Now, it's been 20 years. It's okay. And then we'll turn it on. Hold the bind button. This receiver does not require a binding plug. It has a little button on it. You just hold it down, turn it on. You get flashes. Then you hit bind on your radio. And we got... There we go. Salty and fresh. We're going to adjust this steering a little bit. We got more steering than we have car. All right, we're maxed out at 55% to the left, so we may have to adjust our trim a little bit. If we got enough in there to not have to take it apart. Yeah, we still got adjustment. We just need a few clicks. Old Rusty's up and running. We're going to leave this motor in. Like I said, they're going to do handout motors this weekend. We're going to leave that in there till this weekend. No need to take it out yet. I need to leave it in there for testing purposes. And we may need it for practice. I'm not sure how soon we'll get our motor when we sign up. I assume we'll get it with our sign up. But you don't sound real healthy, but it's working fine. Because it gets quiet and then it gets loud. Now it's quiet. We're going to leave that alone. It works. I may grab another servo just to be safe. We'll hit the hobby shop one more time before this weekend. Still got sand coming out. There's sand coming out of the servo saver. Oh yeah, it'll live another weekend. All right, welcome back to take 47 or whatever of this outro. Not the most exciting video this week. No painting, no racing. But this weekend we will be racing a Grasshopper, and I haven't raced one since the 80s, so it ought to be pretty funny. Want to thank Chris again. He's going to donate or let us use his Clodbuster to run a heavy metal class. I'm at least going to practice with it and get some video of it, and then we'll decide whether or not we're going to pull the trigger and race. But anyways, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're inching towards our 1,000, and that's our goal. That's been our goal since the beginning, since started really pushing it again since last May. And I appreciate everybody's come along. Hope this is somewhat entertaining. It's basically just hanging out at my house and hanging out, doing what we do. We paint cars, we paint RC cars, we go racing, we go to car shows. So if you're into that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell if you want to see when we upload. I try to do at least 2 a week. And the members, I do a 3rd video if you're a member. That's tight, but I'm getting it done. So that's it for this week. We'll see you Sunday, hopefully, with some race footage of this thing bouncing around the track. Thanks. All right, if you're wondering what this is in the background, I hate to end these videos on kind of a sad note. It's been hard for me to even get this out, but we lost another friend last week. He was really big in the Volkswagen scene, drag racing, car shows. He was a very locally famous and probably worldwide famous, to be honest, custom painter and pinstriper. And this was on the wall in my paint booth in my old shop. And I said, I'm not leaving without a piece of Sid's work. Anyway, this video is for Sid.